Capitol is closed except for the military. It's where we find America on this Sunday, January 17th. And the web went wild. The Capitol grounds in Austin closed to the public by the DPS through Wednesday. Authorities say, quote, violent extremists had planned events for the days running up to the inauguration.
At least 25,000 U.S. troops are protecting the U.S. Capitol on fears of violence surrounding the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. Some say the city is on a virtual full military lockdown.
Southeast Texas lawmaker Joe Desotel has tested positive for COVID-19, and several Texas lawmakers are in quarantine as a result.
Joe Biden promises to make more of you eligible for vaccination.
Will there be so-called kill-capture teams in D.C.? And were there on January 6th? We'll tell you who claims there will be. Hello, I'm Kevin Steele, and this is 1813 News, The Archive.
And I'm Marissa Gerik. We will never forget the turmoil of January 2021. These are definitely history-making times.
We start with Joe Desotel and Dade Phelan, the Speaker of the House, and our state representative, our Southeast Texas representatives, right in the middle of all this. We wish Godspeed to Texas State Representative Joe Desotel, who has COVID-19. He tested positive this past week, and that has brought some concern. Some other legislators have, in fact, taken to quarantine as a result. Again, we pray for Joe Desotel at this time of his sickness.
Biden's American Rescue Plan involves an ambitious proposal for bringing the pandemic into control. But at what cost? The 5-part plan opens up eligibility to more people, creates more vaccination sites, and launches a large-scale public education campaign. Biden said we're in a war with this virus. Biden said the pandemic is claiming roughly 3,500 people on average, and that the vaccines have reached only 3% of the U.S. population so far. But Biden made no mention of President Trump's Operation Warp Speed and the dramatic inroads already made on the vaccinations. No specifics yet for Southeast Texas because while the Biden team plans to fund 100,000 new community health workers, the bill itself could be dramatically revamped.
Texas conservative legislators won a big victory in the Texas Senate this past week in Austin. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick reporting that it worked. He had led a charge that was voted on by the Texas Senate, and the supermajority requirement in the Senate was changed. As reported in the Texas Tribune, it makes it much easier for conservatives to get legislation onto the full floor of the Texas Senate. It won't take a supermajority to get bills on that floor now. Theoretically, conservatives want a major victory with that.
A blizzard of misinformation in the nation. First, an Arizona federal prosecutor alleged that kill-capture teams had targeted elected officials in the U.S. Capitol during the raid on January 6th. Now it's clear that misinformation was wrong. In the early hearings for some of the suspects arrested, we've learned from Michael Sherwin, the acting U.S. attorney for D.C., that there was a disconnect and that a handwritten note to Vice President Michael Pence said only, "It's a matter of time. Justice is coming," far from the threat alleged by the Arizona prosecutor. Jacob Chansley is still facing weighty charges despite the absence of the more sensational information.
Texas House Speaker Dade Phelan raising $4.4 million in the month and a half starting in October. He's raised overall $4.8 million that he has as cash on hand since becoming the Speaker. His team says the numbers represent, quote, a record for money raised and maintained by an incoming Speaker. This is what we're learning from the Texas Tribune. Another thing we're starting to see this week, which is really bewildering to so many conservatives, is this question of what's happening with the groups. So many people are being told that they are restricted in their response to posts. They can't share to groups, things like this. This hasn't happened to you.
Surprisingly, no.
Nothing yet.
I've been safe from the Facebook censorship so far,
Yeah.
But it's mind-blowing how many people just within this past week alone have been censored. They've been shut down from.
They got us.
They got Kevin Steele
and
of
look
all
how
people.
innocent I am. So I'm shocked and amazed that they would do such a thing. But again, it's a question of what Facebook thinks it can get away with in terms of the censorship on its page. And so far, they're going to get away with it. You know, that so far
So
nobody has
far.
been able to bring up Section 230 or call them out for any of their censorship so far. So they're going to win the game, it looks like.
Well, they've got some lawsuits pending.
Yeah, you're right.
So-
People are starting to get after them.
I think a lot of people are angry.
Yeah.
I've logged into my social media, and it was like the day before yesterday, maybe, and
Okay.
it was just post after post after
Yep.
post of all only conservative friends being restricted from posting in groups, creating groups, posting on comments. So it's definitely, I don't even know.
Unfair, I guess, is just plain unfair.
Still very unfair. There are a lot of angry people right now. Port Arthur's Ralph Birch has been honored in a spectacular way this week. With notice, he will be featured in the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. The Port Arthur News did a remarkable piece this week. Birch served on the USS Wake Island during the Second World War. He put his very life on the line to defend the freedom of America. Freedom sought out by people all over the world ever since the words were penned that Americans have certain rights endowed by a creator, rights that are unalienable. Birch has given the museum an oral history of what he experienced as a younger man. We salute you, Ralph Birch. Thank you all so much for watching 1813 TV.
We really appreciate it. Now, we hope you will tell your friends about 1813 TV and how to see us. They go onto their Roku device, not into Roku channel, but only on the Roku platform. Search for 1813 TV. We are so excited to have you with us, and we'll see you next time.